Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Wisconsin Revival Rally. We just welcome each and every one of you with us tonight. We thank God for you. We thank God for every one of you. We're going to have a awesome time tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. Um, Okay, I got everything I need set up. Okay, so I want to say welcome to each and every one of you guys. Let me bring the co-host on, the Constitutional Queen, the mom, the 15th District County Supervisor. There she is. Got the Constitution
Hello.
in your hand, huh?
I do. It's Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. So
Yes. So we just grateful to everyone that's coming in and joining us today. We are excited, and uh, she's over there doing mama duties at the same time.
yes, I am. Trying
Hey,
to
my
keep
little
this
friend,
going.
how you doing?
You want to say hi? You say hi?
Are you going to say hi today?
Gonna keep him entertained until bedtime.
All right. So uh, we're going to get this thing started. Some people are making comments. I don't know where they're coming from, but oh, that's from Liz. Okay.
Aw, hi, Liz. This is my youngest. This is Nathan. Can you say hi? You're not gonna say hi.
He was making a lot of noise at the event.
He was.
Yes.
No.
So we're gonna get started tonight, and we're gonna start off tonight. Oh, that's Liz. So we're gonna start off tonight with talking about let us come together. And when we're talking about let us come together, we're not just talking about uh, um, Democrats or Republicans. We're talking about families. We're talking about human beings.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about uh, let's not make the same mistake we made in 2020. Even though we knew that there was a lot of voter fraud, a lot of things on the election side that went wrong, but we also got to look at it from the other side too. And what I mean by the other side is we allowed them to divide us as family, as friends. We allowed them to divide us with fear and with hatred.
Yeah.
You know, and so many people in 2020 uh, voted off their emotions. Either they was fear or they was upset.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that the uh, now that the calmness of everything is over, a lot of them are now admitting they voted wrong. They voted
Yeah.
with their emotions. They voted not not doing homework. You know, they
Yeah.
they voted not doing homework. They voted because of media. Media, um, uh, how should I say this? Media played a very big part in fear and hatred.
Yes.
And so we cannot go into this election in emotions.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to have a level head going into this election. We have to have a level head going into the primary. We have to have a level head making sure um, that we do what's right. For example, if Governor Evers go down right now, right? I don't think people was thinking to think about Mandela Barnes running the state.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people really looked at it and say, "Oh wow, he will be in charge."
Yeah.
Do we really want him in charge?
Yeah.
And so when we look at it from that standpoint, um, you know, we got to ask ourselves: are we voting with emotions again?
Mm-hmm.
Are we voting with or are we using common sense now?
Yeah. Yeah, we know in times of crisis, we're told, by therapists, by pastors, by, very wise people, you shouldn't be making any major life altering decisions, right? Like when somebody's just lost a spouse, they should grieve for a year. They should take that time to rest and breathe and just deal with all of the emotional stuff. Well, we were thrown into a crisis, and if we'd had wise people at the front of it, they would have said, okay, let's slow down. Let's take a breath. Let's not make decisions on the fly. Let's not throw all of our eggs in one basket and trust the science, right? They would have made wiser decisions, and they would have um, called wise people to the table to come and discuss and to have a civil conversation about what the next steps needed to be. We didn't have that. We just had this, oh my gosh, the world is coming to an end. We need to just do everything we possibly can to mitigate the disaster. We made more of a disaster ultimately because we did not decide based on, I mean, it's the irony of it is, everybody's like, oh, trust the science, trust the science. We didn't decide anything based on science, based on logic and reason. It was all, like you said, it was all emotion. And so, yeah,
And
we definitely made poor decisions as a nation and as individuals.
right, but also what it also showed us in a crisis that we didn't have true leadership. We didn't have elected officials that was able to stand up
Yeah.
and defend and say, slow down. Let's take a look at not just one side. Let's take a look at the other side. Why is they trying to shut everything down?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have true leadership. We had no one on either side that stood up and says, wait a minute, we're trying to figure out what's essential. God is essential.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Family is essential.
family is
Community
essential.
is essential. Yeah. This is really the problem that we've had for the last 100 or so years. We react to a crisis, we don't respond to a crisis because we don't prepare for the worst. I'm not saying we should be living in paranoia all our lives and have a bomb shelter built into our homes, although we bought a home with a bomb shelter in it.
Well,
But
I know where I'm coming.
yeah, we got plenty of space. But the concept of this idea of being prepared for the worst scenarios, not so that we can panic every time something goes wrong, but so that we can actually actively look at a situation and go, okay, this isn't the worst case scenario. We've got options. There are things we don't train ourselves anymore to think, what do we do in a crisis? How do we handle situations where we have to think on the fly? If we were trained ahead of time, if we knew ahead of time what to do in those situations or how to think, we wouldn't be in crisis all the time because we would be able to handle the situation as it came, deal with our communities, deal with our families, and then when the real crisis actually hits, we would actually be able to recognize it. And right now we can't recognize the difference between an actual crisis and just, panic porn being laid out on the internet and on the mainstream media.
Right. And the thing that I have a problem with nobody standing up that showed us that nobody okay. Nobody opened their mouth. Nobody stood up.
Yeah.
Now, in the lieutenant governor's race, we got 3 candidates that's already elected officials,
Hmm.
right? And not one of those 3 stood up and says, wait. If Walmart is essential, then that mom and pop store is essential,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If Sam Club is essential, then mom and pop's hardware store is essential.
Yeah.
So they did not stand up, and
Yeah.
this is the problem that I have when it comes to crisis or just using logic. Why nobody that worked in Walmart gets sick during the coronavirus, and
Yeah.
they dealt with so many people that you're going to tell me that an average small business owner couldn't stay open? But
Yeah.
you know what that was, right? in the midst of that crisis, that was economic power.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all.
we're
That's
moving the economic power farther and farther up the ladder so that the people on the bottom are beholden to the government.
yes.
Yeah.
And so, I mentioned this in Iowa County,
Mhm.
and the mayor that's in the race, he said, well, I didn't shut it down. The health department. I said, no. The health department is not in control of your city. You
The
are
health department is not elected, so they're not the ones making the decisions ultimately.
right.
Yeah.
So they did not, you did, because you didn't stand up. So if we start to use logic, if we start to really just think on some things, right? This is why I always tell people, move your emotions out of the way, because
Mhm.
your emotions your emotion will make you make a permanent decision on a temporary problem.
Yep.
If you don't move your emotions out of the way.
Yep.
So when you go back now and you start looking at the crisis, right? And you say, okay, we was in a pandemic,
Mhm.
right? And it's really not a pandemic. It's
Yeah.
they did some things. It shut down. Now, and one of the things that we have to look at is this. Something happened in China, or as they say, it happened in China, right?
Yeah.
So the wind carried it that far around the world that fast.
Yeah.
I mean, if we just slow down and think about it for a minute, now guess what's coming out? All of the corona protocol, right? How they was giving medication that was affecting kidneys.
Yep.
You had people that was having anxiety attacks, and
Mhm.
they was putting them on ventilators, and so when you start to look, if we don't have leadership to say let's slow down.
Yeah.
Even the founding fathers, when they was putting the Constitution and everything together, it got a little heated. And
they
what did
slowed
they
it
say?
down.
Let's calm down and pray.
Yep. Yep. They had a 2-hour prayer service and right after that, and then they had sermons every Sunday just to make sure that they were staying on target. There's something to be said for the Judeo-Christian worldview of Sabbath rest, right? Taking a break and breathing and just not allowing ourselves to get so caught up in the heat of everything. I mean, if you think about everything that's going on, it is so overwhelming. All of the different points that we have to examine, all of the different voices that we are listening to nowadays, and there really is, we're constantly being told you've just got to get it as it comes, right? You got to just, like, the news comes out every 5 seconds and it changes every 5 seconds, and so we got to just keep up. Well, logically, how does anybody keep up with that, right? And so we really need to step back and say, okay, what is essential for me to know right now? This is my home, this is my community, this is my family.
Right.
Start there.
That's
Start
it.
there.
And so we can't come together till we go back and look at some stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when we go back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of it is nobody stood up for us.
Yeah.
Nobody.
You have that, pardon my French, the half-adsed version of everybody getting their, saying something on Facebook about, oh, this is what I'm going to put forth in the Senate or whatever. But they didn't really go anywhere with it because they did not come together as a group. It was just a couple people here and there saying, yeah, this is wrong. Okay, well, do something about it. You're the legislator. You can tell people, don't listen to the Department of Health and Human Services blindly. Do your research, do your homework. You can think for yourself.
Right. And I love what J-Rod's saying right here because of the fact that if you're gonna be a true leader, you gotta be willing to stand alone. You
gotta be willing to be canceled. Yeah.
Right. You gotta be willing to be laughed at, talked about. I mean, you have to be willing to just say, you know what, this ain't right, and I'm gonna speak on it, whether y'all like me or not. If you don't want to eat lunch with me, good. I'm used to eating lunch by myself anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So we have to get to that place where And the reality of it is this: and when we deal with this today about coming together, we're going to deal with it based on the lieutenant governor's race. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some fun with that tonight. So you get to have some fun with that too as well. So right now we got 3 people already elected, didn't stand up for their own district, right? Didn't stand up for their district, didn't stand up for what was right. Oh, yep. None of this.
Yeah.
No press conference, no nothing. And you know the problem that I have is this: that we can never ever come together with a bunch of when a bunch of lies is going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is the veto game, I call that a bunch of lies. You write all these so-called good legislating and bills and you pass them knowing it's going to be vetoed.
Yeah.
So now it looks like you was doing something. No, that gotta stop, because both sides do that, and both sides is good at doing that.
Yeah. It's like, you just, we gum up the works in order to make it, like you said, make it look like we're doing something, accomplishing something, but we walk into it already knowing, okay, these are my limitations, and so I know that I'm not going to actually get anywhere, but at least I can look like I'm doing something. No, if that was the case, then you should have, like you said, been standing on the Capitol steps saying, okay, I don't agree with my colleagues. I don't agree with this. I don't agree that the governor has any right. What the governor is putting down as a mandate is not a law. The legislature makes the law. Why weren't these people in their communities going, we're the legislator, we make the law? The governor can mandate all he wants, but he's not going to have any say over what happens in individual communities and individual families. You guys can do your own thing. Right. You're not beholden to a mandate because it's not a law. Why didn't any of them come out and say that in their communities? Hold a town conference or town hall, something, anything where they're actually getting people out in the community, educating the masses and saying, this is not a law. Instead, they were like, oh, well, we should probably do this for at least 2 weeks so we can make sure that we keep the hospitals open and safe and all of this stuff. And then 2 weeks later, and now it's 2 years later, and we're just hearing from Dr. Fauci, the god of science, that guess what? The pandemic's over, but you're still going to have to get boosters and you're still going to have to wear masks. And what, it's just like.
And now, thank God that the airlines are saying you don't have to wear no mask anymore. And, but
my husband's still wearing a mask in the hospital, though.
And see, and this is the thing that I'm trying to see who said that. And why don't we as people say we are people?
We are the people. Yeah.
We are the people. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it, and we have to be, even with that, let's touch on that for a minute, because we say we the people, right? And you got a lot of people claiming they're for the people. And the sad part about it is they're for themselves. Yeah. They're not really there for we the people.
No, they're not.
And the thing about it is we have 1, 2, 3 in the lieutenant governor's race that claim that they are we the people.
Yeah.
And then every time there's a tough question, they run from it.
Yeah.
So the thing about that, when people holler, oh, we the people, it's about us. No, it ain't about us, because if it was really, 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 really about the people, you wouldn't be promoting yourself.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have went out there and try to make a name for yourself. So I am.
Amber, I'd be interested to see how many of your residents are dying of unknown causes. Fourth
Ready?
booster shot. That's
Oh,
so ridiculous.
yeah. So we're gonna call that a cookie. We can't use that,
Oh, yes.
we call that cookies.
The
So
cookies.
yeah, uh,
Fourth cookie.
we wanna stay on YouTube, so we're gonna call it cookies.
Okay.
Uh,
I forgot we were on YouTube.
yeah, but the thing about it is this: when we look at it, right? When we look at it, and we got all these type of things going on, and those are generated by certain emotions.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. Wow.
So right, so
Yeah.
in the past, we're gonna bring it up to date, but let's just stay just a little bit longer back there, because it was more than just in 2020, 2021. It was more than just voter fraud going
Yeah.
on that folks was dealing with, right?
Oh, yeah.
You had the uncover our mask movement of
Mhm.
from us wearing masks, our children being in masks, right?
Yeah.
Even in Milwaukee, the mayor put on a mask and made an announcement on the news that he wanted everybody in masks, and then he was caught in Door County with no mask.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Evers, I mean, we had pictures of Evers without a mask walking around in the neighborhoods and talking to people.
Right.
It was
But then when they get in front of the camera, they put on a mask.
yeah. Well, and how many bloopers did we see of these people like off stage? They don't wear the mask, right? And then they're putting the mask on as they're getting on stage. And it's just like, okay, really? Are we really that dumb as a nation, as people, to look at these things and not go, there's something a little odd about this,
Right.
or just, I mean, just the whole thing. Like, if anybody, I am a lay person. I am a registered nurse, but I haven't worked in the medical field for a while because I've been raising my kids. I could go in and see exactly that UK guy who did the study supposedly that set off the whole precautions. This is how many people, like 2 million people are going to die or something like that, right? And or 20, I don't know. It was a huge number, and they were like, this is going to be a worldwide crazy epidemic, and we're going to lose millions of people and all of this stuff. And so they based this all of these protocols, and the CDC and NIH and all of these protocols, they based it off of this guy and his study in the UK. I didn't even have the ability to go into the medical journals without, having a medical license access or whatever. But you can very easily see, for the past however many years this guy's been working, he had no actual successes with any of his algorithms. None. He failed miserably. He was the one who went crazy about the what was it, the hand, foot, or mad cow disease thing over in Europe, right? He went crazy with all of these charts and graphs of how it was going to kill. They killed thousands of beef cattle and other animals in order to supposedly curb this massive infection that was going to, kill people. It was a total failure. It didn't work. There was no crazy epidemic that took place in the UK or in Europe. This guy has never had a successful statistical analysis of anything, and we were trusting him. Anybody could have looked up his record. Anybody, not just doctors and nurses and researchers. Anybody could have said, hey, where's he getting this study from? Nobody did. And so we all followed this guy based on this false study that gave us false numbers. And even after they corrected it, they're still going, oh, but we're still going to keep all of these things in place because we still have to protect the vulnerable. I mean, our common sense, our logic and reason has gone completely out the window.
Yeah. And well, let me address this first. Larry, I'm still waiting to see who has some free time on Sunday to go over there, and then I'll let you know once I know that. But you're right. We don't stop to when you in your emotions.
Gosh.
When you in your emotions, you just go whatever.
Yeah.
But when you slow down and start using logic and say, wait a minute, let me look this up. Let me see what they're
Yeah.
really doing. Let me see what they're really saying about this. And how is it that they tell us to put on a mask, but they're not wearing a mask? You
Yeah.
see them on social media having a good time with no mask on. And then when they call themselves getting in front of the public, then they want to put the mask on and say, oh, you got to be considerate of other people. But
Yeah.
you wasn't considerate about other people. You
Yep.
know, so what 2020 showed me was, it showed me, and this is just me, it showed me that we had no true leadership
Mm.
in any elected official at that time.
Yeah.
It showed me that they have no respect for the churches
Yep.
at all. It showed me that yes, we had election integrity was out of the chart. They stole, they did all the dirt that they did in the election. It showed me that as families, for the first part of those 2 years, nurses, CNAs, doctors, anybody worked in the health field were heroes.
Yeah.
Then the next year, you zeros.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so what end up happening is it showed true colors,
Yeah.
true characters.
Yeah.
I won't use the word color. Somebody may call me racist, but it showed true character, right? It showed people what you really are, right? Yeah. And then you had the opportunist comes out too, because they're like, oh, this is a great idea for me. Now I can go do this and claim I've been out here for the duration and say, you know what? Guess what? This is what I've been doing. Ain't nobody else been doing it but me, you know. And
Yeah.
so when you have these people, and then you, like right now, everybody's dealing with the election again, right?
Yep.
Everybody playing with emotions, playing with your emotions. Everybody adding more stuff to their resume that you can't find anywhere. And you know, we got one candidate told me now he's, what did he say? Sunday? Was that Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday.
What did he say Saturday? He's now saving police officer lives?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Because
I mean,
and this is the other thing that happened during all of this is that we divided our nation by class structures again. We, you know, we focused in on, oh, it's going to affect minority communities more. It's going to affect, oh, look at the you know, police officers. We have to support all police officers. Oh, we have to support Black Lives Matter. We have to support healthcare workers. We broke everybody up into these tribal groups. I'm sorry, if I'm working as an RN, I don't find myself a hero. I'm doing my job. Like, that's a job. It is not a heroic act to do your job. What is not a heroic act even more is to do your job and listen to the protocols and not fight back against them, because you know they are stupid. You know they are not based on science and logic, and yet you are continuing to do it because you don't want to lose your job. That, what would have been heroic is if these people stood up and said, we are not going to take this. We're not going to kill our patients. We're not going to give them emergency use authorized shots that we have no idea what's in them. That would have been heroic. But instead, we called them heroes for throwing people on ventilators and giving them cookies. I have a hard time with that. Okay.
I know.
We call them heroes for giving the cookies and taking the cookies and putting people on ventilators that killed them. Like, how is that heroic? I'm sorry.
Right. And the thing about it is, like you said, we got all these tribes, right? Because everything is important. Don't get it wrong. Everything is important. Honest and fair elections is important. Very important. Medical freedom is very important.
Yeah.
Our children freedom and rights, CRT, very important.
Yeah, parental rights.
Parents' rights is very important. Stopping all mandates are all very important.
Yeah.
Every last one of them, right?
Yeah.
Well, what we have, the way we divided ourselves is, if my importance is not your importance, then you're not for the people.
Yeah.
But if you're a leader, you're trying to you should have something that you can bring everything back together, right? You got to be that glue that draws everybody back together. I was out getting signatures today, right? And it was so funny. And the lady was like, she was like, David, you a Republican? I said, yeah. She said, I ain't know you was no Republican. I said, when y'all needed a job, you didn't ask me if I was Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
When you needed food in the house, you didn't ask me if I was Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
When I went to the court with you guys, y'all didn't ask me if I was Democrat or Republican. When I had to bury your loved ones, you didn't ask if I was Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
Even when I did your marriages, you didn't ask me if I was Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
You just know I was the man to go to when you needed something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And she was like, you know what? You're right. We never did. I said, so if you needed that job and I was a Republican, would you have still took the job? Yeah, I would have took it because I need to. Yeah. Exactly. And, but then I started to share with her what they was doing in schools with the CRT, how they call it math racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, what? Diehard Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, are you serious? I'm like, dead serious. So when you start to talk about the things that matters to a person, right?
Yeah.
Then they don't care about Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
They just want to know what you're going to do to help fix it.
Yeah, and we need to stop with the labels, because right now I'm ashamed to call myself a Republican at this point, because it's just, I mean, the party is a mess and they are cowards and they are hiding behind all of these virtue signals and all of this stuff, and they're not doing their job. And so we need to stop calling ourselves Republican or Democrat, like this identity that we put on ourselves as if that is what decides our life decisions, that is what makes our worldview, right? That's part of it, but it's not the whole thing. What are the things that we what is what makes our identity, right? Are we a child of God? There's the first one, right? There's our identity right there. And yeah, and so calling ourselves a Democrat or calling ourselves a Republican really pulls that out and makes the conversation impossible to have, because we've got this preconceived notion of what a Republican looks like. We've got a preconceived notion of what a Democrat looks like. And I'm guilty of that as well. That's definitely a Democrat. I've said that before. That's definitely a Republican. I've said that. But as I'm raising my kids, I'm realizing, no, I can't smack labels on these people, because there are people who have claimed to be diehard Democrats their entire life, and yet they live conservative, right? They homeschool their family. They work hard jobs to provide food for their table. I mean, those are very, very family conservative values. And so to call them a diehard Democrat just because they vote on the wrong side of the ticket, I'm putting a label on them that might not necessarily actually be true. Well, and then shutting down the conversation. That's what I was getting at. We shut down the conversation by saying, "Oh, you're a Democrat. Oh, well, like I can't talk to you."
Right. And that's what we do. We allow people to help us just go away. You're a Democrat, get away. Yeah. You're a Republican, get away. Yeah. And and the definition of what a Republican is, or should be according to the party itself.
Yeah.
And wow, I wonder, where do I stand?
Yeah.
Because like you say, they're cowards. They have not stood up for us. They have not represented our interests. Okay, yeah, they represented their own interests, but they never represent our interests. And so, for them to be bold enough to stand up for our issues, and we, I mean, like I say, we have the voter fraud. We found out where the fraud is. We know all of that. are they or are they not going to decertify? We don't know, but we found out what they done, right?
Right.
Then at the same time, then none of them, nobody, no elected official in any race stood up for the people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and now they're just like, we need to just forget about it. That was the past. Let's not keep dredging up the past. Well, I'm sorry. If you don't dredge up the past until you've learned from it, then you're going to still be living in the past. I mean, that's really ultimately how it comes down to, because we're still going to make the same mistakes we made in 2020, in 2016, and so on and so forth.
And you're right. And we just don't want to address it because in order to address it, we have to admit we was wrong.
Yep.
We have to admit we was wrong that we allowed them to close your church.
Exactly.
We was wrong that they shut down the businesses. We was wrong that we did not stand up for the children. Because you know what? If they stood up and said that, they know they ain't getting elected.
Yep.
They know that they're not going to get elected. They know that they're going to be in trouble. So, but here's the thing though, you have to stand up, I guess, and accept whatever the thing about it is. So somebody said, "Oh, who is that?" Oh, okay, that was Liz.
Yeah.
So when we look at it, right, we have to admit, not only was they wrong because they didn't stand up for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we too was wrong because we put them there thinking, or assuming that they was going to stand up, and they did not stand up. Hey, Patty, they did not stand up. They did not represent us as well, and we allowed that to happen. We did not say anything about anybody not standing up for us. We did not demand them to come on the street corner with us and stand with us and call a press conference on medical freedom when nurses was losing their jobs.
Yeah.
CNA was losing their jobs. We didn't demand them to stand up and stand with us when we got to fighting CRT and all the crap that's in the school right now with the books and everything. We allowed them. We allowed them to not say nothing when they call parents terrorists. They didn't even stand up for the parents when they called them terrorists.
Yep, exactly.
So all of that's happening, we allowed it.
Yeah.
And now we in another election cycle.
Yep. And we can't treat it like a crisis because we're going to get people panicking. Oh, hold on. Oh, we're gonna if we call it a crisis, if we call it, I don't know, if we bring up the fear again, if we try to push the fear factor, right? Like, oh, our election, what's the point of voting? We won't ever get any integrity driven elections anymore. We might as well just sit back at home and let it play out, right? If we continue that narrative, if we continue talking about it from that perspective, then we've already lost, right? We might still have cheating in the elections, and more than likely that's going to take place. But we also have people in our local areas who are starting to step up to the plate. There was a Wisconsin town, I can't remember which one it was, that just set up it's a election sanctuary, I think, something to that effect, where they are refusing to allow outside donors in their elections. They're taking that money issue out and they're saying, no, this is a local community thing. We're going to do our elections here, and we're not going to let anybody outside influence and affect how these elections are run. It can be done. And my favorite example was in California during the 2020 elections. These heavily Democrat laden, like, they had been voted Democrat for 50, 60, 70 years. And yet Republicans got into office. So It can happen. And we just the things we need to be concerned about is who we want to get into office and what we're going to do once they're there, right? We're still going to do our part here in the local communities. We're still going to fight for integrity. We're still going to fight for Second Amendment laws. We're still going to, all of these things. Just because the people get into office doesn't mean our job ends.
Right. And the thing about it is, I think when we look at it uh, from a local level um, to the state level, I think that if we understand exactly what they're doing, right? Because we know where their drop boxes is. We know everything, right?
Yep. Yep.
So if we're policing, if we're doing our due diligently,
Yep.
then we will be able to keep an eye on a lot of things and intercept.
Yeah.
And just like, it's just like a neighborhood, right? A neighborhood watch.
Yep.
The moment one family say somebody try to break in their house,
Yep.
everybody's on guard now.
Exactly.
Everybody's on guard. So
exactly.
we know the major cities that they cheated in the most. So guess what we do? Those are the ones we watch the most.
Yep, exactly.
And so now that's gone. So now we know what to do, how to intercept the cheating, right?
Yep.
Now we got to go back and sit down and move emotion out of the way and says, who's going to fight for us?
Exactly.
Who's going to represent us? Who's going to make those hard decisions for us? Who's really going to do what they say they're going to do? And who's been doing it? Who's really been a fighter, a champion that fought for us and not, you got candidates, and it's so weird. You got candidates that when they on their page, they get hit with a hard question, they won't answer that one. But then the next thing down is to somebody say, I'm voting for you, and you will say, thank you. So in order to say thank you, you had to see the question.
Yep.
Right? So, but they won't address it.
Yeah.
When people hit me with a hard question, I answer it, then I say, now call me. So you can hear it. You not just typing, you can hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yep.
You will be able to hear it. And one lady called me, and as I began to share with her, I said, this is why I wanted you to call, so you can hear my heart. You can't hear my heart if I type it. Anybody can type anything.
Yeah.
Said, but having that conversation, knowing that I am reachable, right? Knowing that I'm willing to answer any question, anytime, anywhere. I never run from a question. If I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you I don't know, but I'll be right back with the answer. But I would never not answer a question. I would never not go into territory, no matter whose backyard, as they call it, it is.
Yeah.
But when you have these kind, if they're not going to answer hard questions in the primary, what makes you think they're going to answer the hard questions?
Yeah. Or they'll hand over their question answering to their minions, their interns and all that stuff. And so then we're not going to get a straight answer from them.
Yep. Let me see what this person say.
Yep.
Of course, because that's what it's supposed to be, and that's what it's supposed to be like. So let's talk about coming together. And when we're talking about when I'm talking about let us come together, I'm not talking about one side, because after the election, for example, you are not the county supervisor just for the Republicans in the 15th district.
Exactly.
You're that county supervisor for everybody that lives in that district. When I become lieutenant governor, I'm not lieutenant governor just for the Republican Party. I'm the lieutenant governor for every person in the state of Wisconsin. So what do I mean by let us come together? We all got the same issues, rather. We got to understand as a people, right? Is that we as a people all have the same issues, right? You got Republican single parents who's trying to do something for their family who can't. They get punished because they're trying to do better, and so they get punished. So they got to make a decision: do I stay on the system or do I struggle? You got Democrat families with the same problem.
Yep.
You got Republican kids that being forced to wear masks. You got Democrat kids being forced to. You got Republican kids dealing with CRT. You got Democrat kids. So we got to come together for the good of all men right now.
Yeah.
You know, we have to come together and says, let's sit down, let's reason. You know, let us reason together. Let us come together. We're not going to agree on everything, but we all agree on our children. You got Democrat mama bears as you got Republican mama bears, right? You got lions on both sides. You know, the problem with some of them on the Republican and Democrat side, they forgot they was lions.
Yep.
So they act like sheeps.
Yep.
So how do we bring them to the table?
Yeah.
We bring them to the table by addressing the issues that they're dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not going to convince everybody. I mean, there are people who are diehard stuck in this. I'm going to trust, whoever's in the expert seat at the moment, and that's the way it's going to go. But I think we're going to find more people willing to at least sit down and have a conversation than we actually believe we will. Because we've gotten so used to dividing the lines, we've forgotten that that there are people on the other side who want to have a civil discussion about things. They want to be able to understand other people's worldviews, and so we need to look out for those opportunities.
Yeah, and not only that, the Bible teaches us that we're supposed to take care of the household of faith. It didn't say the household of faith if they was Republicans.
Yeah.
It says the household of faith. So you got some people of faith that's on their side, and again, a lot of things happen because of lack of knowledge.
Yeah. People perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes. And then it even goes on to say we have the zeal, but not according to God, not according to knowledge. So you have the zeal, you have the drive to want to do something, but not according to knowledge on how to get it done. And so you got people that have a desire. See, I need the people to come together. On August 9th, I need we the people to come together. I don't need them to join the party.
Yeah.
I just need them to come together.
Yeah.
I'm not going around trying to make them become Republicans.
Right.
I'm just going around trying to say, okay, slow down and let's think.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, if you think and we have that rational conversation, you'll mess around and you'll realize that we agree more than we disagree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell them I like using the analogy. Well, you're a Packer fan, I'm a Steeler fan. So if my quarterback throw the ball and you intercept it, but it looked like a pass interference, to me, it's a pass interference.
Mm-hmm.
But to you, it's a good interception. Why?
Yeah.
Because we see it two different ways based off of what we want. But now if we wanted the same thing, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
But if we go back together and we watch the instant replay, right? And as we watch it, we be like, oh yeah, you're right. That was a pass interference.
Yeah, because ultimately you agree on the foundational principles of football, right? You agree that there are rules that set up the game, and so if those rules are broken, then this happens. Or if this play is seen as, if they rule it as this and it shows up on the replay that this is that it was a pass interference or it was an interception, then you ultimately accept that. One team might be upset about it, but they can't be upset on the basis of it being an incorrect call. It was a correct call, so they have to accept it, even if that means their team loses, right?
Right. And so that's what it is. Let's go back and let's revisit, right?
Yep.
Let's revisit 2020. They shut down the church. Oh, that's pass interference. You do not interfere with God.
Yep.
Right? Well, you shut down the business. That's past interference. Government has no business messing with business owners.
Exactly.
So if we go back and we look at it from that perspective, right? Right.
Right. They can be upset that their team lost a play or lost the game or whatever, but they can't be upset because the truth is the truth. There's no getting around that. If you're upset because of the truth, then that's on you. Really. I mean, we have to learn to accept the truth, whether it's good or bad truth, right? If we just want to accept truth for the good parts of it, then we're completely missing the point of it. Truth is an objective thing. It is not something that we can change on a whim.
Right. And the thing about it is, that's what we should be basing everything when it comes to the election.
Yeah.
All these lies and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny, something happened, and I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but you know how we go around and we got the show, the Wisconsin Revival Rally show,
Yep.
and we do the Wisconsin Revival Rally going all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, now there's a constitutional revival. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's a constitutional revival now, event coming up. And I laugh, everybody say, you see this? I say, yeah, I saw it. They were like, ain't you mad? I'm like, no.
No.
Actually, I'm flattered.
Yeah.
That you set it up, making it look like what we already been doing. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. And why can't we get more than just one person in on the educational aspect of it? I mean, think about, we're all children under God, but we all follow different teachers. We follow different pastors, and it's great when we all come together as the body of Christ. It's great to see everybody's skill sets and everybody's talents and abilities being played out on multiple levels, right?
But it's not that kind of revival rally. It is a constitutional rally for what's called the Dream Team. And so I laughed when I saw it, because I'm like, oh wow, there go Ishmael. It's not an Isaac.
Yeah.
Right? So then we have another one.
This is on Facebook?
Yeah. I think do I have it or I don't have it? I sent it to you.
Okay.
I did send it to you already. Didn't you see it when I first sent it to you?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't send it to you. Hold on. Let me find it for you.
Is it Fire Up Freedom? No.
Hold on. Check your instant messenger.
Okay. Oh, fun. Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You saw that, right?
Yep. Interesting.
I know, right?
They already picked all of their top people.
Yes.
I have to say, Karen, I believe I strongly support Karen Mueller, though. So
right. It's when I saw that, right, I started laughing, but
yeah,
and I try to tell people, when you as an individual, wait a minute, let me see who's saying that. Okay, I don't know who said that. I'm trying to find it, but I don't know who that is. But when I look at it like this, for the most part, election are won off of manipulation and deception. Right? And in the process of manipulation and deception,
Mhm.
right? It allows us to uh, be deceived, and then once we are deceived, it's too late.
Yeah.
And so what we have to do, and what we got to stop doing, is allowing people to deceive us, to stop allowing people to lie to us. and
Yeah.
and and we know they lying, we know they out of order, but yet, because we they might pick um our topic, and because they like our topic, then it's okay for you to deceive me
Yeah.
because you picked my topic. For example, if I wasn't who I really was when it comes to the Constitution, right? And I first met you, right? And then all of a sudden, you know, you asked me a question, which you did, and I answered it wrong. And then all of a sudden I come back to you and, oh my God, I'm all constitutional everything. And you'd have been like, yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
Really? You'd have been like, okay, you know what? Nah, uh-uh.
Yeah.
But because what you're saying is you're not going to deceive me.
Yeah.
You're going to put it all on the table. I want to see it for myself, and
Mhm.
once I examine it, then I know where you really stand, right?
Yeah.
So when we look at this, what happens is when we're talking about coming together, when we're talking about uh, bringing everybody together, the only thing that's going to allow us to stay like that is truth.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
and why? Because you traveled the whole state, and you got to remember every lie you told everywhere you went, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of my opponents, I was in his shop, in his business, and oh my God, and they told the business that, oh, I came to Milwaukee because of my mom. So I'm in Milwaukee, I'm in Wisconsin because of my mom,
Mhm.
right? Then it goes on the other side of the state and says, I came to Wisconsin for my man. And I'm sitting there like, do they know the lies that they're telling? Are they keeping up with their lies? You have one says, I went around the whole state teaching the Constitution. And then all of a sudden now he's saying, I done went around the whole country in the last 2 years, traveling the whole country, helping people out, helping business owners, saving police officers who's committing. Okay, where was this in the beginning of the campaign? Now all of a sudden you're doing all of this. I mean, if people would just slow down, right? And
Yeah.
just says, okay, this is what, I don't get it. And you got to help me with this one.
Okay.
Because you women, when it comes to your mate, right? He can tell you a story. You can ask him a question about where you been. He can say, well, me and Bobby went to um let's see, Chick-fil-A, and we ate at Chick-fil-A. Then we rode to look at some guns, and then we came home. Then all of a sudden you wait. Y'all know how y'all do it. You wait a minute, right? And then you ask him again. Now, who was you with? You and who? Oh, it was me and Bobby. And then what happened? Well, see, we ate at Cracker Barrel. Wait a minute. I thought it was
Shit.
Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I just came straight home. Wait a minute. I thought you went and looked at some guns. Because you were like, I want to see if he's gonna tell me the truth or is he gonna lie. So
Well, it works the same with my kids too. I will not ask them a question about what happened unless I absolutely know the answer to the question, because I want to see, what are you going to tell me? Because and it's just so funny. They know that that's how I ask questions, and yet they will still try to give me a song and dance about what happened and why they weren't at fault about the situation. And it's like, okay, I didn't ask the question because I was looking for a story. I was asking the question to see if you knew the truth the way that I I understood the truth to be, like it was, yeah, it's, I mean, it's, you gain kind of a sixth sense about things. Truth has a ring to it. And, I think we've lost that ability to sense that because we've gotten so used to just listening to whoever is the expert on the seat at the moment.
And so when we look at it, right, and we're talking about when we're talking about this thing, and if we can't come to the table and say the same thing over and over again, that's
Mhm.
why when I do the barbershop, right, I go live. When I do
Yep.
Bible study or legislative meetings, I go live.
Mhm.
If I'm doing my Think About It Tuesday, I go live.
Yep.
So everything I go live. So and people love to hit me with questions, and guess what? I answer it, and it be consistent. It's
Yeah.
never anything different. It's never well, you said this earlier. No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Look
did.
back. I've got video evidence, right?
Right. So, but then when you're changing, you know, you're changing.
Mhm.
And now you're using how should I say, different excuses. All right.
Mhm.
And let me tell you what I call an excuse. You ready for it?
Mhm.
I call an excuse a lie wrapped up in a coat.
Yep.
Because that's all it is.
Yep.
And so we have to, in order to fix Wisconsin. Oh, for example, let's take your position. All
Mhm.
right. There's 3 committees that you're on right now, right?
Yep. Yep.
And all 3 of them is very important, very
Mhm.
important. But you got to be able to bring the truth before folks that does not think like you,
Yep.
right? Matter of fact, are you the only conservative on those committees?
As far as I know, I believe so. I if they are conservative, they do not speak it out loud. So yeah.
So now you gotta figure out, how do I bring them together,
Yeah.
right? How do
Yep.
I bring them together so we can work for the common good of everybody?
Exactly.
And that's what we got to look at, even at a state level. How do we bring people together without I'm not saying that you got to water yourself down and things like that, but I'm
Right.
saying, how do we do it to the fact where we come together and then coming together representing who we say we are in the highest manner.
Yep. And doing it in such a way that I'm not bullying people to get, to fall in line with my opinions or beliefs, that I'm using gentle persuasion, that I'm discussing the facts of whatever whatever we're talking about, that I'm bringing civil discourse to the table so that we can actually have multiple points of view and compare and contrast. I mean, how do you all of this stuff about misinformation and disinformation, it just drives me nuts, because how do you disprove bad bad information, or how do you disprove lies? You combat it with the truth, right?
Mhm.
You like what is that verse, is it in the Proverbs that talks about how the first man's argument is the right, is sounds right until the second one gets up, the second witness rises, right? we if we are constantly just trying to shut down the other side, whichever side that is, then we're never going to actually get to the truth of the matter, because we're shutting down any opportunity to bring out these viewpoints and beliefs and facts and things, bring them onto the table so that everybody can evaluate them, everybody can see them and go, oh, yeah, well, my opinion is wrong, or my opinion is different than yours, but you're right. This is actually true, right? It doesn't matter what my opinion is, it's what's true. And we don't, we haven't done that on a regular basis. And so we only hear one side or the other. We put ourselves in our little bubbles.
Yep. And when we was at the barbershop, right?
Hmm.
We totally in difference opinion on we agreed on the condition of the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we didn't agree on at the time was whose fault it was, right?
Yeah.
So while we sitting there, and we like, okay, we agree. It's messed up. Crime is high. Economy sucks. We ain't nobody working. Da 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 da. And we and I mean, before we got there, you know, we both everybody in there was everybody was raising their voice. Da 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 da. Wah, da, 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 da. And so we got to that agreement. Okay, it's messed up. Okay, we all agree. Yeah. Now let's see who fault it is, right? Democrat, Republican, da 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 da. And all of a sudden I said, okay, here's the truth. Let's bring out the truth.
Yep.
I said, county supervisor, who is he? They said David Crowley. I said, okay, good. Is he black man? Yes, he is. I said, good. We in agreement. It's David Crowley. He's a black man, right? He said, yeah. I said, Democrat or Republican? They said, Democrat. That's okay. Who's the mayor? And who's been the mayor? David, Chevy Johnson, Cavalier Johnson, and Tom Barrett. I said, both Democrats, right? They thought about it. Yeah. So, okay, all your aldermans on the north side, let's just stay on the north side. They said, okay. Is they all black? Yep, except for the one on the east side. Okay. Are they Republicans or Democrats? Democrats. Exactly. Let's look at your county supervisors.
Yeah.
All on the north side. Black or white? Black. Democrat, Republican. They thought about it. Democrat.
Yeah.
I said, so let's look at your state reps and your state senators. Is they all black? Yeah. Democrats or Republicans? Democrats. So who in charge?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So why are you blaming the Republicans for this? Yeah.
Then the light bulb come on. Dad, man, you right. You know,
yeah.
Because, you know, even though I had the truth and said, man, y'all just don't know nothing. No, I need you to see.
Yeah.
So what we do, we did the instant replay.
Yep. Exactly.
Let's play it back. Let's see who in charge.
Yep.
Right? Same thing with this election. Every candidate from governor all the way down, you need to do an instant replay. You need to play it back. Look at what they said in the beginning, because you they can't go erase it. Well, they can try to take it off their page, but you look at what they said in the beginning, and you look at what they're saying now. You look
where do they stand on issues? How have they voted? I mean, you can find these are public record. You can find all this information.
But you know, a lot of stuff for them you can, but for the other candidates that running and claiming they're doing work, you know what's amazing? It's just nowhere in the internet.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Maybe Zuckerberg took it out the internet so nobody will know what they done.
Yeah, that's
or Bill Gates, maybe, you know. But you can't find nothing. How is it that you can't find anything?
Yeah.
You know, those are the things that you got to go back and look. How come I can't find nothing?
Yeah, you're claiming all this stuff. Well, where is it?
Right.
Yeah.
Where's the paperwork? Let us see all of these 30 years and where you was at in those 30 years doing what?
Mm-hmm.
Where you been in the last 2 years? What business? Let's look to see what business you help. Let us get the police department that you've been assigned to do suicide watch.
Yeah.
Because ain't no police officer coming to anybody that ain't certified.
Yeah.
Unless they go into their pastors. You know, so where's all this stuff coming from? You know, and so when we look at it, right? Like the gentleman who's running for Congress up here. I mean, down here, up here, where are we at? But I mentioned the 10th Amendment. I said, do you know what that is? He said, no, tell me. No, you tell me, you running for Congress.
Oh, Lord.
So if you don't know.
So basically they're going to swear on whatever they want to, that they're going to uphold the Constitution that they've never even read and don't understand.
Right.
Yeah.
So my thing is, hold on, you want me to do what? But
Yeah.
You don't know?
I mean, that should be a prerequisite for anybody running for office. You know your Constitution backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
You know your Declaration of Independence. Bonus points if you know George Washington's farewell address. and double bonus points if you read the Anti-Federalist and the Federalist Papers, because then we can talk about you actually defending the Constitution, because if you don't understand it, if you've never read it, then you have no business being in office.
And well, here's the sad part about it. A lot of lawyers ain't read it.
I know. Even the ones that call themselves constitutional lawyers. Like, what Constitution are you reading? Because you don't know ours. The Constitution in Papua New Guinea, or what? I mean, it's not the Constitution of the United States of America that makes you a constitutional lawyer, because you don't have a clue what you're talking about.
And so, yeah. So when we look at, it, we don't need people that's going to keep us divided. We need people that's going to bring all of us together, right? And stop pointing fingers, and it's like when we was kids and the dishes wasn't getting done.
Mm-hmm.
That got us a whooping. Even though we was trying to blame somebody else, when it was their turn to wash dishes, that didn't work, right?
Yep, exactly.
I remember when we was, God, I don't know how old was I. I couldn't be no more than like 6.
Mm-hmm.
And my daddy had brought this bike. And in order to have the bike in the outside, we had to learn to take turns riding the bike.
Mm.
And so it wasn't that he couldn't afford more than one bike, because he worked at A.O. Smith. He was making good money.
Yeah.
But I think, and what I took from it, he was teaching us to work together.
Yeah.
And you had to take your turn, you ride around the block, then the next person ride around the block, then the next one. Yep. And then it was the same way with the TV, right? It taught us, okay, if you can't come in agreement on what to watch, the TV don't come on.
Yep.
You know, and now
this is a team effort, right? I mean, that's what I tell my kids all the time. We're a family team. We work together. We get our chores done together. If you've finished all your chores, that doesn't mean you're done. Help other people finish theirs.
Right.
And so it's yeah.
See, if I was a kid in your house, I would be the last one finished cleaning mine so everybody can help.
That sounds like my oldest. She's like, I'm going to get up at a later time, and I'm going to slowly work my way through my chores. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody help. Oh, yeah. I like that. No.
But even in this home, even mom gets involved. I mean, I'm not just sitting back watching my kids do the chores. I'm doing them doing it with them.
That's what true leadership is about.
Model, yeah.
True leadership. When I was managing $1 million companies, I would never tell somebody to do something I wouldn't do, and they saw me doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Even when I went from J.C. Penney's back into the restaurant industry, right? Mm-hmm. I would wash dishes, I would cook, I would serve, I would do it all, right?
Oh yeah.
And they was like, wow, why are you doing? I'm a team player.
Yeah.
It takes all of us. And besides, I think I'm a better cook than all of y'all. And they be like, really? Well, let's put it to test. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you done had a whole day of fun because you're trying to out cook. Now, what we shared was you don't win if the food just tastes good.
Yeah.
You had to win on presentation, how it looks, with everything, right? And they look at me be like, dude, you trying to make that look cute.
Yeah.
I said, no, it's sexy. I'm making it sexy. And so, but that's part of teamwork, and when you go into office, you can't go on one side. You got to do team because
Yeah.
you're there to represent the people.
Yeah.
So you got to be a team player. You got to be willing to work together to get to take care of everybody. And
Well-
and the thing about it is, you guys are sending us in there. Well, they and the 15th sent you in there to fight for them.
Yeah.
You know, to fight for them, not to just go just to say you there. No, you got to fight. You got to make sure that those people are taken care of.
Yep. Yeah, I going back to the football analogy from earlier, I don't know if you've ever seen Remember the Titans.
Oh, yes.
I love that movie. But my favorite part in it is when the two team captains of the captain of the defense and the captain of the offense are together, and they're arguing about how their team's just falling apart, right? They're at this boot camp for footballers, and their teams are falling apart. They're not working together. They're constantly just at each other's throats. And I'm trying to remember which one said it. He said, "Oh, that's a pretty poor attitude to have." And the other guy says, "Attitude reflects leadership."
Yep.
Captain. And he just ends it there, you know. And then after you see that, the light bulb goes on, and you see the entire team change because the leaders at the top were suddenly turning their attitude around and saying, "Okay, I'm going to lead by example. I may not like the guy in the other jersey because he's a different color than me, but that doesn't matter. We are a team, and while we are a team, nothing else matters. We're going to win these games, or we're going to lose them as teams, right?"
Right.
And so so it was just like, that is my favorite part in that whole movie. Attitude reflects leadership.
Yep. And you know, that's the part. And you know, in that movie, I also like their character.
Mm-hmm.
And once they realize that we are the example, right?
Yep.
And he was walking with the team.
Yep.
And they pulled up in the car and said, "Come on, let's go with us." You know? And he was like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah.
You know, that's character. You know, I love to see people operate in character. And you know, he was like, "Nope, I'm a team player. I'm gonna hang out with them.
Yep.
Anybody got a problem with it? That's too bad." You know,
Yep.
This
Exactly.
is it right here. You know,
Exactly.
and that's what we missing right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that we're missing true leadership.
Yep.
That will be an example, and true leadership should be able to pull from both sides.
Yep.
And to get everybody to work together.
Yeah, because it even talks about it in the scriptures, how you are known by your fruits. I know we've talked about the fruits before, but you're known by your fruits. They can't find anything wrong with you if you have an unimpeachable character, right? Your integrity. They may disagree with you on pretty much everything, but your character will shine through, and that will make you electable, because they see that you're doing things out of sincerity, out of truth, out of the desire to serve others, to be a servant leader, and to model that for others. That should be what we are electing people into office with, right?
Yeah.
Instead, we're electing them because, oh, well, we like the color of their skin, or they're a woman, or like all of these immutable characteristics. They can't change it, but they can change their integrity. They can change whether or not they believe in truth and are going to fight for truth or not, you know, and we need to start thinking in that attitude again.
You know, I put a post on Facebook that says, "Character is not created, nor can you buy it or fake it.
Yep.
Either you have it or you don't."
Yep.
And so when we look at this thing, like you say, we're voting them in for the wrong reason.
Exactly.
You know, we're voting, "Oh, she's a mom like me and I can relate to her," you know, or "Oh, he's so nice and he's really, really talking like me, and he sounds like me." And then I'm sitting there like, okay, but have you been to the tree to see the fruit?
Yeah. Have you tasted it?
Right.
Yep.
Matter of fact, which kind of fruit is it? Is it a seedless fruit or a fruit with seeds? A seedless fruit is man-made. It has the image of the apple.
Yep.
but it can never produce anything else.
Yep.
Because why? There's no seed in it.
No character. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so when we're looking, when we're picking, when we're doing anything, we got to go to the tree and really expect the fruit.
Exactly.
Because if we do not, then we don't know what we're putting in office. If they can't handle pressure, I changed that to a whole new level. I'm not even talking about them making it in the office. If we put them up to go fight a Goliath, they're gonna get whooped.
Yep. Yep.
If we put them in the lion's den, they're gonna get eaten.
Yep.
If we put them in the fiery fire, they're gonna get burnt up. Because what you thought is not. Just like gold, you put gold in fire, everything that's pure is coming off. That's not pure is coming off.
Exactly.
So when you put them in the fire of the Democrat Party, the machine, who ain't gonna want to give up no territory, you got to go try to possess that land. Good luck.
Yeah. 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 It's that concept of Psalm 1, I believe, that talks about blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers, right? You look at that progression, you start walking with them, and you just pick up little bits, right? You're still moving, you're still trying to move in the right direction, but you're picking up little bits of what's going on the other side. And then you stand, you stop moving, you stop changing, you stop growing, and you're just standing with them, and you're getting more involved in what they're getting involved in. And then you sit. Sitting is like that ultimate, I've decided I'm on the dark side, right? I've fully enmeshed myself in evil, and I'm willing to completely stay right where I'm at with it. And that's that progression. It's so interesting to me to see how that works out in the political scene. They go in with all of these, I'm going to be a person of integrity, I'm going to tell the truth, I'm going to fight for what's right, I'm going to defend the Constitution. And by the time they get out of it 40, 50 years later, they're nothing that they said in the beginning has come true. In fact, it's the exact opposite.
Well, here's the funny thing about it. You is not going to be in office for 40, 50 years standing on the truth.
Yeah.
You're not. Because why? They're not going to let you sit there 50 years telling the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And so when we look at everything, and we got to wonder if I got a question, if you're gonna sell me out, I got a problem. If I gotta wonder if your motive pure, I got a problem.
Yep.
If I move my emotions out of the way and I'm starting to see red flags, I got a problem. If I don't see consistency, I got a problem.
Yep.
And those of us, even when they try to use God now, that's the part that makes me the more upset than anything.
Yep.
Because they say they're people of God, and then they open up their mouth and they lie. They do deceitful stuff.
Yep.
And then you wonder, you really belong to God? You really belong to God? You really gonna tell me you belong to God and you doing A, B, C, and D?
Yeah.
And I know Matthew 7 says, judge not, but also in Matthew 7 says you should know them by the fruit they bear.
Right.
And this also teaches us to what? Know them that labor among you.
Yep.
You got to know them.
Yep.
And if somebody come to me and say, I really want to be on your team and I ain't seen you in a while, I might give you the paperclip ministry.
Yeah.
Because if you don't show up with the paperclips, we can still move forward.
Yep.
So I got to know you just like you got to know me. I got to know you. And the thing about it is when we look at everything, right? When we look at everything that's going on and everything that is doing, We
Yep.
can't afford another election of deception.
Oh, yeah.
We can't do that.
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah, I mean, the path we're taking has rapidly, oh, what's the word? Has gone so fast lately towards destruction, right? If we keep this up, the snowball's not going to stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we already done put people in office that we thought was going to be there and represent
Mhm.
us. We already put people in office off of the lies and the deception, thinking that they was what we call strong candidates.
Yep.
Strong candidates, but they can't even fight. Strong candidates. Wow, that's a new one. We got to stop using that. You're a strong candidate. Strong candidate for what?
Yeah.
Manipulation and lies?
Yeah.
You know, we have to make sure that what we put up and who we put up is going to be able to stand in the storm,
Yep.
because it's going after August, it's a storm.
Yep. Yep.
You know, it's a cakewalk. What you gonna do when the media start attacking you? What you gonna do when the media try to call you out? What you gonna do when it's debate time against them?
Yeah. Yeah. How are you going to answer?
Right. And they already know. They looking at everybody, and they're crossing off week.
Yeah, they already got us pegged, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they like, okay, we got to deal with this one. We got, all we got to do is do this with him. Well, he's establishment guy. So all we got to do is go after him from the establishment standpoint. Every time he opens his mouth, we can call him a racist because he's a white establishment. So we can call him racist. So we, and then they be like, we can't use the race card on him.
No.
But he will tell on us.
Yep.
And now we got to be able to, how will we combat him? Because he's going to come in and he's going to say, well, you didn't do this for the black community. And he can say it and he's not racist.
Yeah.
He's going to tell you that we are not the party of God.
Yeah.
And we got to try to prove that. See, those are the things that we got to look at. How are we going to be able to attack the other side to show the people that they ain't been there for them?
Yep. Yep.
And those are the things that we got to look at when we start to do homework. Who is bold enough or crazy enough or wild enough,
or a little bit of both of all of the above, right?
of all the above, to really stand there and deal with them with this?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I don't need nobody that's gonna run, hide, and not answer things, and you know, and what's the word I want to say? The movie. Remember in the movie, the guy, I think he was like a receiver or a running back.
Okay.
And every time he got hit, he would fumble.
Yes.
And the coach snapped on him.
I think
he couldn't handle the pressure, so he acted like he was walking away.
Yeah.
Whining. And the guy told him, no, come play defense for me.
Yeah.
Right. See, we don't need nobody like that.
Yeah.
We don't need nobody that when the pressure hit, you ready to run.
Yeah, because I mean, he gets on defense, and then when the pressure hit again, he dropped and he got taken out. So yeah. Yep.
So if you can't handle, you can handle the glamour of people liking you on this side, but can you handle the pressure? Well, you can't even handle the pressure on this side, because when you know people don't like you, you don't even show up to certain things, and so you won't even answer certain questions. So how are you gonna be able to go in Dane County and then in Milwaukee County? Because to be honest with you, those are where the debates gonna be. Those are where the debates gonna be.
Yep.
How you gonna handle those debates? How you gonna be able to say to them, well, and they gonna find, that's the part I love about, um, the Democrats, right? And what I mean by that is what I love about them is they show their true color. They hyenas.
Yeah.
And hyenas always hit. It ain't one person hitting you. They all hit you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they surround you and they be like, this person can't handle pressure. And you know what they'll do? They'll send people in the debate to ask the questions.
Yep.
And they hitting you from all sides. Bam,
Yep.
bam, bam, bam. And then you sitting there like, wow. Now I'm gonna answer this, you know.
Yep.
Because they already know what, you know, I ain't never seen a real debate in Milwaukee that was even.
Yeah.
It was always gonna be lopsided. And unless you got you a nice follower to mellow it out,
Mm-hmm.
they all standing up and they all holler and they all, you know, they do those intimidation tactics.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's just like the hyenas. If they find one lion, they all just try their best to intimidate and nibble at them and stuff like that. So if you're not a lion, you're not gonna handle the hyenas.
Right. Right.
You know, they're not just gonna hand you just because you win the primary. Whoever win the primary, they're not just gonna hand you November.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get out here and you're gonna have to make sure that your message resonate with those that's in the middle.
Yep. Yep, for sure.
And the thing I love about the ones in the middle, they done heard it all. So them song and dance, they not going for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so let me see something.
I haven't noticed anybody commenting lately, so
I know Kevin must have took a phone call because you know Kevin always and J Rod is always. But the thing about it is people are with people out of obligation. They don't even think they'll be able to win. They just there out of obligation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, for example, we talked about the gentleman, right? That's running for Congress, right?
Yeah.
But we got a governor candidate that says he's going to deputize hunters. You don't got no authority to deputize anybody.
That's the sheriff's position, yeah.
But he's using that, and people is eating it. I'm sitting there like, are we thinking? Because just because they say something, it's just like, you know, it's like in church when the preacher say something and somebody holler amen, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they don't realize is when they say amen, it means let it be so.
And let it be so, yep.
Right? So the preacher can say, I'm finna sell a church. They'd be like, amen. And you'd be sitting there like, hold on. Let it be so?
Yeah.
Oh, Amber says she's driving to work. You know, and do you really want him to sell a church?
Yeah.
You know, but we you know, and when he's saying it, he got you at your highest peak. He got you so emotional that I'll give you an example. Who was that? Jesse Duplantis. I love Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Jesse Duplantis, he was doing an imitation. He says, and this is how it is in the white church. He says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
Mm-hmm.
And then he say, but when you go in the black church, they go, and God love the world. And he had me cracking up because the emotion, the high, right? But the problem is if we're flowing like that in the what do you say?
Groupthink is powerful. Yes, it is.
So, but if we operate like that in the election, the emotional high is over on the 9th.
Yeah.
Because it ain't no more preseason.
Mm-hmm.
This is the real deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one thing to go to a church and get that emotional high from the sermon and just be like on fire, right? But what are you doing when you're in the nitty-gritty, the day-to-day mundane things in life? Are you following that conviction that God is who he says is? Are you living as if you believe that that God that you heard about on Sunday, right? And it's the same thing in the political sphere. Okay, you can vote on November and get all excited because I voted and I put my voice forward and everything. Or you can go to a protest and put out your voice there, and you can get all high because there's a bunch of there's a group around you supporting you and stuff. What are you doing the rest of the 365 days of the year?
Yes.
Are you working in your communities? Are you getting involved? Are you raising your children in the ways of the Lord? Are you showing up at those board meetings or at those school board meetings? Are you doing the work that needs to be done in order to maintain our freedom, in order to maintain the basic liberties that every human being has a right to, right? It's not just about the ballot box in November.
Right. It's and actually when we look at it, the real work begins in August the 10th. That's the real work.
Yep.
And that is where it ain't no more emotional high now.
Yeah.
Because now people want to know, okay, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
What's your plan?
Yep.
You can't sucker me now because there's no more people.
Yeah.
How are we gonna fight this fight to take out Evers and make him a one-term governor?
Exactly.
What is it? See, because here's the thing about it. We got a whiff in the spring election. What happens when you don't have the right candidates and the right message?
Mm-hmm.
Out of over 600,000 people in the city of Milwaukee, their message was both message only generate 86,000 people to come out and vote.
Yeah.
So you can have a great turnout in primary because why? You got 9 lieutenant governor candidates. You got 5, maybe 6, all depends, on the other ones. Mm-hmm. That's governor candidates.
Yep.
Now I found out there's 3 treasurer candidates now.
Oh,
there's 3 secretary of states. There's 3 attorney general and all of that. So you might get a nice crowd out for the top of the ticket primary, right?
Yeah.
But if you move on emotions and let's say one win with no vision,
mm-hmm.
Tony Evers is going to mess around and be a 2-term governor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
We cannot have a Sarah Palin and John McCain ticket.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
We cannot, because if we do, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
We're going to lose. And oh wow. Oh. And that's the thing that we have to understand and realize.
Mm-hmm.
I always said if Sarah Palin would have had a different partner, a team member,
mm-hmm.
he probably would have won.
Yeah.
But because the people was ignorant, because most people only know history up to the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know it past the Constitution. Mm-hmm. Because if they would have, then they would have known about John Hanson.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't.
Yeah. That's why we can't vote for someone because it's their turn. Yeah.
I don't get that one. What do you mean?
I don't either.
It's everybody's turn,
Yeah.
Anybody that, that's where we mess up. When we start telling people, you know, we're gonna vote for you because it's your turn now.
Yeah.
What did, I never knew that there was seniority in running for
Well,
office.
like, I mean, I didn't think that if we did the elected representatives the way that we should, then people would not be waiting in line. We'd have to beg people to stay in office
Right.
because Benjamin Franklin said it perfectly. He's like, he says you should not be thinking of this office as something, as a place of honor. You are a slave to the public. That's what he called them. It's like, you are a slave to the public. That's not a place of honor. That is a job, and you got to do all of the hard work because you represent the people. If we actually if we actually understood that and had that as our if we went back to that regular constitutional representative, people would not be lining up and saying it's my turn at all. They would be saying, oh no, you're not going to get me anywhere close to that office because I don't want to take responsibility for when it all goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah. And I don't want to, and you know, we would have to say, you know what, I don't want that. But if you want, you know, that's why even the Bible says, anyone among you wants to be great, let him become a servant.
Yes.
So you got to be a servant to all.
Yeah.
And you got to give more than just what you feel is enough. You got to give. You got to be willing to give more than you get paid for. You got to be willing to really get out here and make a difference. And so, if, in other words, you're giving up of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and you're giving yourself up for 2 years or 4 years or however.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing that people don't understand is that they think they don't work for the people. They think the people just bow down to them. But no, you really supposed to be working for the people. You really supposed to be that servant, like you said, like Benjamin Franklin said, that slave. You are now a slave for the next 4 years. I remember my uncle, he was ordaining ministers at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, and he was giving them their ordination papers, and he was saying, congratulations, slave. Congratulations, slaves. Congratulations. Because he was letting them know, now you are a slave to the people.
Yeah.
You have now joined the servanthood, the bond servant. That means a slave. Paul said, I'm a bond servant.
Yep.
And so when it comes to the office, you're saying, I want to be a bond servant. I want to be that slave servant that represent the people.
Yep. Yep.
Not a person that's representing themselves,
Yep.
but a slave servant that's representing we the people.
Exactly.
And so, you know, some people look at it like it's glamorous. No, it's not glamorous if you're doing it right.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's glamorous if they get, you know, lifetime retirement packages and healthcare benefits that don't look anything like what the American people actually have to deal with, and they get $140,000 a year salary. Yeah, that's glamorous, and I can see why people want to get into those offices. They go there for, you know, 20, 40 years and screw up the American people, and they come out rich, you know. And so it shouldn't be that way. They shouldn't be taking a salary like that. They shouldn't be taking lifetime benefits for serving the people. That's not it. I mean, think about our original, like, our president Washington was actually surveying while he was a president. It wasn't his fault, like, it wasn't his job, that he was serving in a capacity in the government, but that was not the job that he had. He maintained his estate, he surveyed, he did all of these other things, and he didn't actually take a paycheck. All he did was he handed in some receipts for expenses that he accrued while in office. That was it.
Right. But you know, it's like this. Are you serving? Which P are you serving?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's two P's. Are you serving your pocket, or are you serving the people?
Yep.
And that's what it is.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, they want that cushy desk job.
And the thing about it is, when we look at everything, we gotta say, you know what? Do you really want to serve me?
Yeah.
Because you could tell they don't, because you can't even get them.
Yep.
If your boss called you and looking for you, you better know where you at, because he's gonna fire you or she's gonna fire
Well,
you.
yeah, you're not gonna get my my 2-year-old assistant on the phone. You're gonna get me, right?
Right.
That's always something that drives me nuts. And I get that people, in Madison get phone calls from their constituents, and there are a lot of constituents in each of their districts, so I get it. But like, when you get canned emails in response to a specific question you're asking, or when you get an assistant saying, "Oh yeah, we're working on that idea. We'll send you some information," or whatever. But you never actually get to talk to the person, right? Unless you go there and hound them at their doorstep. It's just it's really frustrating to have to deal with that.
Right. And not only that, you know, they only have a town hall meeting when they want to call one.
Yep.
But wait a minute, you answer to us.
Yeah.
You should come to a town hall meeting when we call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
it don't supposed to look like, wait a minute, do I feel like doing a town hall meeting? You have no choice.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
know, well, I
Exactly.
gotta check my schedule. No, you have no choice.
Yeah, you better show up.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's where the people got to take their power back
Yep. For
and
sure.
say, you know what? That's it. So, I think that we have to find a common ground
Mhm.
and meet with any and everybody. No lies,
Yep.
no lies.
Yep.
And the thing that I love about me, the Democrats, I say the same thing to Democrats that I say to the Republicans. So I don't lie to get the Democrats to sign my signatures. I
Mhm.
tell them the same thing that I tell the other side,
Yep.
because and I don't hide. You know, it was so funny. The man said today when he was signing, he said, "You're a Democrat, Republican." I said, "Republican." He was like, "Oh wow, good, thank you." And signing, he was like, "And why?" Because I wanted to say it with confidence that he don't think I'm swaying or I'm trying to hide
Mhm.
something or anything, right?
Yeah.
And so when we do that, we gotta stand, we gotta be willing to stand
Yeah.
and deal with some things, to the fact where um again, it goes back. You got to be willing to answer the tough questions. You
Yep.
got to be willing to deal with it from a place where, if I can't answer that,
I'm gonna find the answer, or yeah.
yeah. So here's the thing now. You ready for this?
Yep.
All right. You have to give the people a message on coming together.
Yeah.
Let me I'll let you get a little thinking breathing room. You ready?
Mhm.
Okay. There you go.
Oh, geez. I have to give him a message about coming together. Okay. So, I mean, the Bible says it the best, always be prepared to give a reason for the hope that you have, and to do it with gentleness and respect. And I don't think that that just happens to be the gospel. It also happens to be the truth about the way the world works, and the way that we can work best as communities, as a country, as a nation. Um, Truth has a ring to it. And so, with gentleness and persuasion, I think that we can bring our bring the truth to the table, and let it be dissected. I mean, we shouldn't be afraid to bring the truth to the table and be afraid that somebody's going to cut it down. It's true, there are going to be people who attack the truth all the time. But if we're holding back out of fear, if we're holding back out of a desire to not to please people, out of a desire to not make waves, then yeah, the truth will be covered up. It will be unable to be aired out and brought to the table in order for us to talk about it. I would say, I mean, just as a county super, I'm part of 3-4 committees, and I am not going to be going in there guns blazing. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be examining all of the evidence and for whatever issue we're dealing with, and I'm going to be examining all the different sides. Even the sides that I hate. I mean, I don't have to like every side of the issue, but that doesn't mean that I dismiss it. And I think that's part of the issue of coming together is we don't dismiss people just because we don't like what they have to say. We may think that an argument is the stupidest argument we've ever heard, but if we're treating the person who's making the argument with disdain, if we're treating them with disrespect, if we're not treating them like a child of God, because that's what they are, then we're not going to be able to come together. And so gentleness, respect, but always focused on the truth and always focused on bringing that to the table. So.
And I'm gonna do mines like this. In the book of Amos, it says, "How can two walk except they already agree?" Just because we're on the Republican ticket, we're not agreeing on a lot of things that we should be walking together on.
Yep.
And so to bring the people together, we have to come into some kind of agreement that we're going to fight certain things. Like we're going to fight for honest and honest election and election integrity. We're going to fight for against CRT, right? Any mandates. We're going to fight to preserve parents' rights, to restore those rights to parents. We're going to fight for freedom. So all of us coming together. So the Bible says, how can you do it unless you come together? So it's not one-sided because we the people are talking about these issues, but we the party is talking about wasteful spending and taxes and all of that other stuff that is not lining up with what we the people want. So we have to get everybody to come down to the table, have a seat. Let's listen to each other and let's see what's best for Wisconsin as a whole.
Yep.
What's best for our children in Wisconsin. What's best for the business owners. What's best for the farmers. What's best, because you told us 2 years that Walmart was central and everything else wasn't. Yeah. You told us the liquor stores were central, but church wasn't. Yeah. You told us parents don't have rights when it comes to their own children. Mm-hmm. So you're not in an agreement with us. So why would we want to walk with you?
Yeah.
And like you said, we elected a bunch of cowards. Mm-hmm. People that was afraid to open their mouth not because they was afraid of the retaliation or standing for the truth. They didn't open their mouth because of their career they wanted. And they was probably threatened by other people that if you don't be with us, your career is over.
Yep.
And so, we have to make that decision that I'm not here to make a career. I'm here to make it right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we have to do. And that's something that people got to understand and realize as we come together. We come together and we're going to be genuine. We're going to be authentic. We're going to be real. Mm-hmm. And we're going to walk in consistency, in character, and in honesty. Yeah. And so as we coming together with the people, we're saying, okay, these are the things that we're looking at to fix first. Yeah. We got a lot of fixing to do, but these are some of the major ones that we need to fix. And if we can fix these, the small ones is automatically fixed.
Yep.
We fix education, crime is fixed. We move with the mandates, people will go back and stop giving out free money, people will go back to work.
We fix the family.
We fix the family, you fix the community.
Yep.
You fix the community, you fix the city.
Yeah.
You fix the city, you fix the county. You fix the county, you fix the state.
Yeah.
It all is all connected into one.
Yeah.
And those are the things that we have to understand and we have to realize. So with that being said, is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to these lovely folks?
I think I've said what I had to say tonight.
I know. So we're still looking for somebody in Vernon County to get signatures for us in Vernon County on this Sunday, I believe it is. Yep, this Sunday, Vernon and Monroe County. But we're doing great on signatures. If you are in the Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha area and you want to give your signature, inbox me. I will drive personally to your house and get that signature. We're doing good on signatures. We just want to be done with signatures. So, so we thank everybody for watching from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Yep, I think that's all of them. And so we thank you guys. Wow, this is the first show. We're going to end a couple of minutes early.
I wasn't sure I was going to be able to survive much longer.
I know. So neither have I, but again, we want to thank everybody. May 5th, if you're in the Fond du Lac area, on May 5th at the American Legion, we will be with Dr. Duke Pesto. We would be with Dr. Duke Pesto, and we would be with the veterans at the American Legion on May the 5th. Doors open up at 5. We're starting at 5:30. So come and get you a seat. Listen to Dr. Duke Pesto. Dr. Duke Pesto and I will be in Dane County, I believe it is, on the 12th. I got to get it. I just got the call, so I got to get that. Also, on the 18th, we're doing a 2-city tour. We're going to be in Green Bay and then in Manitowoc on the 18th.
Awesome.
So, the 18th of June. Let me get that right. The 18th of June. So, stay close to us so you'll know exactly where we at. All of our dates are on our page. We're excited about everything. Let's go get these signatures and let us go ahead and prepare to take out the hyenas.
Yep.
I am Dr. David D. King, along with the Constitutional Queen, and I am your next Lieutenant Governor, and we will talk to you soon. God bless.